All right, looks like we're live. Okay, well, so if you saw the post in my story, basically what I'm trying to do right now is I would like to try doing a monthly live stream where I talk about my plan and my schedule for that month, mostly to keep myself accountable, but also to kind of, keep you guys involved. And we got a bunch of people joining. All right, so I just realized this whole thing might be backwards. Is this backwards? Is this in mirror image? Did I mess it up like that bad? Somebody tell me. Oh, here's my mom. Is this backwards? Mom, help me. Did I set up a whole whiteboard with the schedule for my meeting and everything and it's backwards? Nobody's saying anything yet. So many of you. Good to see you guys. I know I haven't done a proper live stream in the longest time. Yeah, it's backwards. That's so great. That's so great. That's so great. I set this whole thing up and I didn't even... I love it. I think if I did the back camera, it wouldn't be... Yeah, that's what it is. That's what it is. I'm not going to bother with that now, though, because then I would have to turn it all around. Actually, maybe I will. Maybe I'm going to hang up and... No, because then I can't see the comments. I figured it out. All right, so I'm going to mark right here that this is backwards. Wait, let me try to write it backwards. Ugh. Backwards. Wait. Fine. Now you all know it's backwards. And I can't even move it to remove my shame because I didn't clean behind it. Because like most live streams, everything immediately outside the perimeter of the camera is a complete wreck. It's just squalor. Because I haven't done my Sunday cleaning yet. So basically what I was going to do with my nicely set up board that is now backwards, I was going to go through my plan for the month and kind of involve you guys and help keep myself accountable in that way. So I'm going to use my real phone here and go through the notes. So the first item was going to be the follow-up on last month, but since this is the first month I'm doing this, there's not really anything to follow up on. You know what I'll do next time? I will, since I have the two phones, I will do the back camera so this won't be backwards. I think I've proven I don't understand this. And I can check the comments, I think, on my other phone. So, let's see. So there's no follow-up on last month, obviously. Did not accomplish a ton last month because I had to work a whole bunch. If you are a regular on my feed, you will have seen the recent post I made about my current situation where I have to have a day job and where I'm working hard to get back into my, full-time art career. And all of that is good. Like, it's extremely helpful. I did need that. I needed to catch up financially and get back on my feet there. So that's what I'm kind of going through now, in terms of getting back going. I don't remember where I was going with that. Anyway, so there's no follow-up for last month because I didn't do this and I didn't accomplish a lot last month except make money, which you got to do sometimes. Bunch more people. Hello everybody. Don't mind my backwards board. That's an embarrassment to the universe. Next item I was going to have was conventions in that month. I wanted to start promoting more of the conventions I'm going to and hopefully get a little more traction at those. Now, granted, in December, I have no conventions. It's not a standard time for Comic-Cons, so I'm not going to any this month, which I appreciate. The holiday is pretty time consuming and I am tired and it is cold and I don't want to travel and go to conventions. So I'm kind of grateful to not have any conventions this month. Let's see. Hold on, I'm missing some stuff. Okay, what are folks saying here? Art and life ain't easy, but you're on the good path. Thank you. House A Graphics, Meathead Sunday, yeah. I'm gonna try to be doing this monthly, dude. Let's see here. And nothing beyond that, I don't think so. Cool. You all are awesome. You all are awesome as always. Charlotte's here. Hello. Okay, so no cons this month. In the future, when I do have cons, I will definitely be telling you about it. Here, I will be promoting it. I will be talking about it, be saying where it is, all that stuff, because I hope to see as many of you, or eventually meet as many of you as possible, because that would be really fun. So no conventions in December. Mr. Hackadoo. Oh, you bought me a badge! Dude, thank you! You know what? I forgot that was a thing. That's how long it's been since I've done a proper live stream. Oh, and that is one thing I wanted to bring up. I am working hard towards getting back to the regular live streams, because I really liked doing those, the inking ones, the Monday night inkings that I used to do. Those were really fun. I really enjoyed doing those. They really broke up the monotony of, just inking all day, because I really enjoy sharing it with people. And what happened was two reasons. 3 reasons. I wasn't working on any specific projects at the time, so there wasn't really a good thing to show on the live stream. I didn't really have time to do a live stream, and I'm now in a shared studio space, so I had to be conscious of my studio partner, Zach Howard, and his time for when I was live streaming to not interrupt him and whatever he was doing. And our schedules never met or never overlapped properly in order to accommodate that. But I have a small setup in my apartment now as well. So basically, as I get more pieces going, as I get my next project going, things like that, I should be able to live stream more, do art live streams, that sort of thing. The sort of things you OGs out there who've been here for a while will remember and hopefully join me again for. All right, let me catch up on comments here. What's the best thing you've eaten in the past month? That's a good question. What's the best thing I've eaten in the past month? You know what? I'm going to have to let that cook in the back of my mind. I'll try to come back to it later if I remember, because I can't think of anything right now because I'm in live streaming mode. So as I was saying, yes, in a nutshell, I am working towards making things pretty much the way they were before in terms of inking live streams. And I may even do some penciling live streams. I would love to do some sketching live streams in the future as well, because again, if you're on my subscription feed, you know that I'm sort of ratcheting up my sketching method for it to be more educational for me, to really study anatomy and understand anatomy, which is a process that never ends. People who have been doing this their whole lives, it never ends. So that's always something to consider. So I'm working hard on a new improved sketching method that's more educational for me. So I may do some sketching live streams at some point. So maybe keep an eye out for that. There's a bunch more people. Welcome everybody. Welcome. Let's see. Next item on the list. There's no conventions in December. Okay, so Project A in December. So I'm going to try to do a thing. If you can read backwards on my board of shame that I wrote backwards and then tried to write backwards on backwards for the live stream, once it started and I had realized my shame, there is, after conventions, which are none, Project A in December. So I'm going to try to divide it into Project A and B. Again, if you saw my previous post about why I had to move to Denver, why I had to take a side job, stuff like that, it's basically because I was not planning ahead when I did Mother 47, my current graphic novel. And what happened was I got to the end and realized I had literally nothing planned. I literally worked myself out of a job because I was so entirely committed to this project while it was happening that I didn't prepare for the future at all. So my solution to this is always basically be working on 2 things. Have a couple things on the back burner. Have your primary project, have your secondary project, which I'm calling, Project A and Project B, so that you always have something ready to go. Let's see. Oh, why draw in blue-red before inking rather than ordinary pencil? I will get to that in just a minute. Oh, Comics with Bueller! Hello, nice to see you too! Oh, yay! Okay, I'm gonna completely lose track here because I was in the middle of something and then I had a question. Okay, so yes, I'm dividing my projects into, or my monthly assignments into Project A and Project B so that I always have something on the back burner. In this case, Project A, to reference backwards board, is the perspective book. If you recall, I announced this a while back. In September, I attended my favorite con of the year, which is SuperCon in Sioux Falls. And because I have the honor of being a special guest there pretty much every year for the last couple of years, they're really wonderful to me. That's part of why it's my favorite show. I'm biased, what can I say? I give a panel there, a breakout panel. I give a talk, I give a seminar, whatever you want to call it if you're not familiar with how breakout panels work at cons. And I had decided to give an educational one on perspective drawing because that is so important and highly undervalued, and people tend to avoid it because it is tricky to learn, and that is legitimate, but it is technically easier than you think. Once you get your head around it, it's actually easy. If you get that over that first crest of learning, then you can get it fairly easily. So my thought at the time was, since I've put all the work into developing this presentation, I may as well put it into a book. So right now I'm working on, oh, so many questions, I can't keep up. Hang on. Hold your questions. I'm working on an instructional book about perspective, which so far has been proving to be pretty difficult because, like I said, it's easy to understand if you explain it right, but I'm trying to make it as simple and non-threatening as possible, because you get a lot of if you pick up a perspective drawing book, most likely it will fall victim to that academia problem, that like we've all had a professor like this. It's like they know so much about their subject that they don't know how to dumb it down for people who don't know anything, who are just starting out. So I'm working very hard to make the perspective book, my perspective book, as simple and graspable as possible. And if you know anything about writing or, communicating information, you know that is actually harder in many cases than spewing way too much information and overwhelming your student. So that's something I'm working on right now. That's my A project. Right now I'm still just kind of writing it. How I'm going to lay it out and visualize the information and the simplicity and understandability of that is going to be a fun process. But that's my primary focus right now. But moving on to, okay, before I talk about Project B, let me check the questions because I know there's some I did not answer. Okay. I know there was a question about blue. Okay, why draw in blue red pencil before inking rather than ordinary pencil? So that is visually misleading when you see that, because I do not actually draw in blue or red pencil. You can get those. You can buy pencils specifically for that are in those colors. And I actually did a big breakdown on this over on my subscription feed. I have plugs at the end where I plug some of my stuff, but I guess this is as good an opportunity as ever. Hop over to my subscription feed. It's $3 a month, and I just give you a lot of behind the scenes stuff. I give you more personal stuff, like, this is what I'm working on today, this is my current success, this is something I just learned that I want you to therefore learn, and I do instructionals as well. I did like a 1 or 2 part, I guess it was a 2-part series. It should technically be 3 because I need to show how to take it out. Ultimately, it'll be a 3-part series on Blue Line and how it works. But basically, here's your little freebie. Once upon a time when Xerox machines were, the closest thing we had to Photoshop, it was discovered that certain kinds of blue would not be picked up by the Xerox machine. So people that did like technical drawing and architectural drawing, those really intense, complex building design kind of things, they would use blue pencil for sort of their thoughts, their sketch, and then finalize it with regular pencil. And when they scanned that in, the blue would not be picked up. So it would just be the pencil. It would look like a clean finished drawing. I meant to do my nails for this. I didn't. That's how much black is left. It's pathetic. Anyway, and today we still use that principle, the blue line principle, for making comics. So what I like to do, my process is I draw my thumbnail, then I scan that into Photoshop and I convert that into the pink line, 40% magenta, and I print that out, and I pencil over that on my penciling board. I print it out on penciling board, so the big ones, big Bristol board. I pencil on that, scan that in, convert that into blue line, print that out on inking board, ink on that, scan that back in, and it's just a couple of clicks in Photoshop to completely eliminate the blue. So that's the long answer for why I use the pink and the blue. And again, you don't have to do it that way. You can get the pencils that do that, but those are kind of your two options. You can create the colored line art digitally, or you can literally draw with it from the start. All right, let me catch up on questions here. I like my do the, King is coming horn sound effect. Hello, what is your favorite comic? Ugh, that's such a hard question, man. The short answer is I don't know. I'm rereading Akira right now. I feel like it's fair to say I'm always reading Akira, so let's just go with that for now. I reserve the right to change my mind at any given time. Let's see. What else we got? Okay, I did it again! That must be my nervous pause sound. Come to Kansas City Planet Comic-Con sometime. I would love to. If you're involved, please have someone invite me. Invite me and Zach Howard. We'll be great guests. We just went to 2 months ago, something like that. We went to Air Capital Comic-Con in Kansas, in Wichita, and the weather was challenging, so that kind of made it a less than ideal show, but the show itself is great. We love everybody that runs the show. We love going to that show. So I bet if you got us invited to your con, yeah, we would be up for that, for sure. We like traveling. That's close enough for us to Denver that we could totally do that. We would like to do that. If you can get us invited, we'll go. All right, what else we got here? Not making the little tootly trumpet sound. Anything else? Oh, Eon Prez brought me a badge. Thank you. Again, I completely forgot you can make money on this. And for those of you that are just joining, bask in my shame of making a full whiteboard for this presentation and not remembering till I went live that it would be backwards. Let's see. Oh, no, that's everybody. Oh, no, I was doing it wrong. No surprise. Let's see. Chris Goody says, as far as audience building on social media, which platforms do you find best translate to more buyers and supporters of your work? Dude, I don't know. I don't know anything about any of this. Don't mistake that number over my name for knowing how to do this. Like, I know how to... I think there's two kinds of people on social media. Like, there's people who actually know how to work the platform. I know a little bit about how to work the platform. And then there's people who just consistently put stuff out, and eventually that translates to followers. Like, I'm not very good at selling stuff on social media. I have my Instagram shop, my Shopify. I have my Store Envy that I promote. Not nearly enough. That's one of the reasons I want to do these, is kind of have a monthly promotion for myself, to be like, hey, I still have things you can buy, but I don't really know. The good news is there's infinite resources on this. Like, get on YouTube, get on Reddit, get on whatever, and, and just look into that. Do your research on that. I am here to talk about art and making art and my process in making art, and I'm, for my own sake, for my own mental capacity, I'm just kind of limiting myself to that, to be honest. I know a few things about how to get good circulation on your content, but I've barely been posting lately because I'm not really working on anything. I'm getting close to working on stuff, but my engagement's down, and it's down quite a bit. So basically what I'm saying is don't trust me on this right now. Maybe eventually. I'll get back into it for sure. I'll have a lot more fresh content once I'm working on a project. And again, I'm getting closer to that point, but I don't have any good answers for you. I'm sorry, dude. Rome says, I prefer sketching in blue pencil. Awesome. Good for you. That's the beautiful thing about art, is you can do it however works for you. Got more people joining. Let's see. What artist did you find inspiring for finding your own style? I mean, I've noticed there tends to be kind of two kinds of artists in a very vague sense. I don't like that whole, like, there's two kinds of people in the world analogies, but sometimes they're helpful. There's people whose styles are not visually like their influences, and people whose styles are. I was influenced very early on. I really didn't take any influence. I started with, like, the first comics I really read were, like, Watchmen and Hellboy and things of that nature. Fairly stark art styles. Obviously not the same. Don't come at me for comparing them, but you know what I mean. Not very lush, you know, not particularly flourishy or elegant, but beautiful and designy. And that's not really how I draw, and that's never really been how I draw. My style is something that was always very, I'm not even sure how I would describe it, a little more cartoony, a little bit bouncy, and I've just kind of always drawn that way. And in my mind, I always had a visual of what I wanted my style to look like, and I just worked towards that, and I learned from other artists how to work towards that, or rather, different aspects I could apply, different techniques, different approaches that I could apply specifically to get to the point I wanted to be. So there's multiple ways you can do it. You can take influence and build off of it, or you can have a pre-existing idea and use influences to get there. I will say something I did take influence from was Gabriel Rodriguez. If you've read Lock and Key, I did let him influence me in faces a lot, especially earlier on when I was in school. I've kind of more fallen into my own thing, which is fine. That's how it should be. But I definitely started early on with some influences from him. So let's see. Mr. Hackadoo, have you watched the Furiosa trailer? I knew this would come up. So I am of two minds on this. George Miller is directing, and I would trust George Miller with basically anything, because he's my aesthetic soulmate. And I love Anya Taylor-Joy. I'm sure she'll do great and all this stuff. No, it's none of that. I didn't love the trailer, I'll be honest. I'm a little split on it, because there's so much CGI. And, you know, I try not to be one of those haters. It's like, look, if it works, it works. If these are the tools you need, that's fine. What matters is that you're making art. But I am one of those people. I do not like CGI. What made Mad Max Fury Road so gorgeous and so visceral and just so in your face was that it was like 90% practical effects. There was a little bit of CGI, and even the CGI that was in there, it looked bad. Okay? Like, this is my favorite movie probably ever. Like, I can't see a movie being made that I could possibly like more than that movie, and still, like, the CGI in that looked bad. And the CGI in the trailer didn't look great either. And, you know, we'll see. We'll just have to see. That's always the case, right? We will just have to see. I'm excited there's enough interest in the franchise for that to happen, for there to be enough interest, for there to be a show. I'm hoping we get some lore, because I personally ascribe to a few of the fan theories that arose with Mad Max Fury Road that I would be very interested to see if George Miller confirms or denies any of those with more of this sort of backstory. But yeah, I'm withholding judgment. I'm withholding judgment till we know anything. And don't expect me to have judgment soon, because I don't actually usually make time to watch stuff. I will see it eventually. All right, let's see. Anything else? We still have like half of my backwards board to go through. Any other questions? Oh, okay. So Rome says, do you prefer traditional inking over digital? Personally, sorry, I have a speech impediment today for some reason. Personally, I enjoy traditional because I have more control of the pen and like the happy accidents that can be created. I find it, I guess maybe so, easy and loose. I love traditional inking. I have about 8 hours of experience in digital inking, and I did not enjoy it. again, there's multiple kinds of artists. There's people that are about the end product. There's people that are about the process. There's people that are about both. I think I'm a little more about the both. And I'm also one of those people that's just kind of very... crunchy's not the word, but I mean crunchy. I like a down-to-earth person. I really just want to want to have the paper in my hand. There's something so intimate about how when you finish a page, you know you have touched every part of this page in real life, and you put your face up to it, and it's real, and you can smell it and hold it. Just that you've touched every part of it. You know, that to me is what makes something like the Mona Lisa still valuable. Like, not only is it such a great painting, you can look at that thing and know that Leonardo da Vinci touched that with his hands. You know, it adds that level of just like, wow, mind blown kind of to it. So, and obviously I'm not on that level. You know, nobody cares to that extent with any of my stuff. But that to me is still how I think about it. It's like that to me is what makes it personal. And also there's a really nice sound when you ink by hand. It's just like this personal little ASMR that's always happening, just like right this close to you. And I really enjoy that. I really enjoy traditional inking, and I suck at digital inking. So that's a very straightforward answer to your question. All right, what else we got here? Flow when make, I'm not sure what you mean by that, sorry. See Art LA, oh, one of my OGs. Happy to hear you've got projects coming. I've missed your art. I've missed it too. But I learned my lesson. I'm gonna have stuff, coming down the pipes pretty much always going forward. Barring some kind of disaster, I should be back on my feet artistically very soon. I'm getting very close. All right, I'm gonna get to the end of the questions here. Bix Artist 61 says, I liked your work on Kolchak 50th anniversary. Thank you. I won't say that. It was fun. It was a fun project. I did get a good chuckle without spoiling too much of my graphic novel, Mother 47. If you haven't read that, there's a heavy rat theme in that book, and immediately upon finishing that book, I was asked to do the Kolchak short story, which heavily features were-rats as the monster of the week. So that was one of those meant to be kind of moments. It was very fun. A funny little coinkadink. All right, going through. Any more? Bix Artist 61 says, check out Godzilla -1. Dude, one of my most loyal followers on here messaged me to say that they wouldn't be able to make this live stream because they would be out watching that. So I count you now as the second recommendation for that. Let's see. Eon Prez has gotta go. Can't wait to watch more. Thank you again for buying the badge. Thank you so very much. That's very kind of you. Let's see. Oh, C-Art LA says, tactility in art making is important. I want to give you every point for saying tactility. I love that. Yes, that's what I'm in it for. Again, there's multiple ways to approach these things and multiple reasons why people like art. And some people just like the finished product, and I just really like making things with my hands. I've always loved just making things with my hands. That feels right to me. So I very much prefer traditional inking. Not in the sense that digital inking isn't making stuff with your hands, but it is, as you said, tactility. And more questions. Get through this. So many of you guys. Thank you. Okay, finally to the end. All right, so now we're going to get to, here's our magical board of backwardness. Project B. Let me check my notes. So Project B, my secondary point of focus this month is I'm going to continue working on the script for my next comic book. And my intention was for it to be a mini comic. It's gotten a little longer. I think I can scale it back down. The comic writing process is they tend to get long and then short again, and then long and then short again as you distill. Like, you add a bunch of things, you figure out what is absolutely necessary, you sort of crunch it back down. You figure out, and like, okay, do I need to add anything to make this crunched down version work? So it gets a little bit bigger, then you crunch that back down, and you just sort of do that until it's done, and you have sort of this pure diamond of content where everything is absolutely necessary and important and relevant. You don't have any fat on it. Like my business partner, my art mentor, Zach Howard, is always talking about stories with no fat on them. And I think that's such a great metaphor, and that's how I like to write. So I'm in the process of writing that now. For those of you over on my subscription feed, you've already seen my subscription feed and my Patreon. I need to hit this because I do not hit this enough. I have a subscription feed, I have a Patreon. They cost the same, they have the same content. So basically, it's the same stuff available for the same price, just depending on which platform you want. And, and as I move forward, I'll probably get better at it. I acknowledge I'm not great at that right now, but those of you that are here for the journey includes the bumpy parts. So I want to be honest about that, because there's, presenting yourself as perfect online, especially in such a emotionally delicate field as art, is not healthy for anyone, I don't think. And I want to show the ups and downs. I want to show, the wins and the losses in the career and in the process. So I'm not really embarrassed about having, less flashy content on my paid platforms than maybe I eventually want. And it even if maxed out, it would still be a combination of those, because I want to keep it real. I really want to keep it real. Let's see. Joshua Bunny Davis, I haven't talked to you in so long. Hey friend, can't stay, but I just wanted to hop on and tell you how proud Jenny and I are of you and your success. Happy holidays. Oh, thank you. So I worked with Josh when I was in art school in Atlanta, when I worked at Trader Joe's. He was one of my coworkers there, and his wonderful wife Jenny is a popular tattoo artist down there in Atlanta. So we sort of bonded over the art in the family kind of thing there. So that was fun. Okay, Scullivan Art says, "Hi Clara, your drawings are impressive and I think you are a brilliant artist." Well, that is very kind of you. I hope to be a brilliant artist someday. I am working on it. Thank you. Appreciate it. But where was I? Okay, so yes, my project B is I'm continuing to work on the script for my next comic project, which, if you're on my Patreon or subscription feed, is called Unto Us. It's a cyberpunk comic, so I'm really leaning in again to the, Akira influences. I realized last night as I was falling asleep that it's also leaning into surrealism a little bit, which I'm gonna run with, because surrealism is something I've wanted to, or rather that I've always wanted to dip into in my comics. And if you read like Mobius or some of those really classic European comic books, you see how easily comics as a medium lend themselves to surrealism. So that's something I want to work towards, and I think Unto Us, my cyberpunk comic that I'm working on now, is leaning that way. So it could get really weird. So if you like the really weird, stick around for that. Yeah. So that's my project B for December that I'm going to be focusing on secondarily. And I do that by writing pretty much every morning. I miss some mornings. I try to write an hour a day, but sometimes I only get in 20 minutes. That's fine. I try to draw at least 15 minutes a day as sort of my morning warm-up, get my brain going. It serves to calibrate, my head for the rest of the day, put me in a drawing mindset, even if I don't get a chance to draw the entire rest of the day, even if it's just a money-making day, I'm still in that mindset, and it helps. You have to cultivate these things. They don't happen on their own, all right, let me check real quick. Mark Ho says, what is most challenging about script writing? Again, that's one of those questions that's like very specific to a person, because everyone does it so differently. For me, I think it's something along the lines of not even keeping it concise, but balancing all the ideas at once. Like when I'm writing, there's 57 ideas happening. It's like, well, this could happen, this could happen, this could, and you have to cut through the noise and find the ones that are narratively good and figure out where to plug them in. I don't start writing anything till I have the beginning, the end, and a certain event in the middle. Because it's me, this is usually a very violent event, and basically what I have to do is make the connective tissue from the beginning to the middle event, and from the middle event to the end, and make sure it all makes sense. So I sort of reverse engineer my stories, because like I said earlier, it's super important to me that everything in the story is essential to the story. And I may deviate from that, at some point as I mature as an artist, but that's sort of where I'm going right now. So I guess the short version of that answer is making sure everything I put in is vital, if that makes sense. All right, backwards board of shame. We're done with Project B. Commissions and pieces in December. So I do occasionally, as many of you know, I take commissions. I will do like sketch covers. I'll do just like small pieces. I'll take cover gigs, things like that. I didn't bring them. I should have. I will do that in the future so I can show them off. I already forgot because I'm live streaming. Oh, okay. So I'm working on one commission right now that is a G.I. Joe piece. I'm working on two G.I. Joe pieces for reasons that those of you on my subscription feed will understand. There was an incident. But one of them is a commission where I'm essentially just designing a green shirt, just making up one of the basic soldier G.I. Joes, not like one of the name characters. And I got a cool little shot. I got him like standing up heroically, on the tank. He's standing on the I'm gonna embarrass myself with forgetting the name of the tank parts, but he's standing on the tank. You can envision it yourself. It's an upshot, which is very challenging. I'm gonna do an explosion behind it because it's a G.I. Joe. The thumbnail was just approved, so I am starting on the pencils now. Zach is helping me a lot with this since he and I both want me focusing very hard now on figure work. He says that's my biggest area of deficiency, that if I can get better at figure work, I'm pretty much on a home run there otherwise. Because my inking's good, my figure work's got to catch up with it, my penciling's got to catch up with it. So he's helping me heavily with that. He's, redone my figure a few times for me to see, then had me redo it based on his redo. So I'm taking extra time on that to just try to learn as much as possible on that one. So I'm working on that right now. And if anyone is crazy about G.I. Joes, I can make prints of that afterwards if it turns out well. I'm also doing a sketch cover. A sketch cover of Copperhead, the G.I. Joe, which I really enjoyed. If you saw my recent... actually, two of my recent reels, the one with the alligator and the one where I joked about not drawing the pants on the guy yet. Those were both the Copperhead sketch cover. I have a deal with one of our local comic shops here in Denver. It's Hall of Justice Comics here in Denver. And we have a deal where if I make a sketch cover, they can display and sell it for me. So if that's something you're interested in, acquiring sketch covers, or if you regularly go to that comic shop, or if I even met you with it, we just had a show there the other day, so just know that is something that will be ending up there in hopefully the near future. My goal is to finish both of those this month. Charlotte just says the pants. Yeah. I tried to be trendy and jump on the adjective math thing, and who knows, you do what you can. Let's see. So those are the projects I'm doing. And I need to do 2 videos for Zach. I don't know if I've brought this up at all. My business partner, Zach Howard, who is awesome and a way better artist than me and has had a much better career, much longer career than me, if that equals better, I don't know. Because he's older. I don't need to explain this to you. He recently started a Patreon. And there's basically 2 things that go on this Patreon. And it's very affordable. I believe it's $5. There's literally just 2 things that happen. He posts every stage of his process for whatever he's working on. So right now it's the Moonshine Bigfoot pages. I highly recommend following him on Patreon because those pages are unbelievably incredible. The other thing I recommend is following him on Patreon and supporting him on there, because he also puts out 2 instructional videos a month based on follower requests, and the person who records and edits those videos is me. So I get a cut of that Patreon. So if you want to learn from someone far more qualified to teach than I am, and also support me, and also support him, I recommend supporting his Patreon. I think the videos are fun. Every, 5th video is bloopers from the previous videos. Yeah, it's a lot of fun putting those together. So I'm doing 2 of those a month. He posts one, on alternating weeks. And I'm gonna be sticking to that. I don't have anything else to say about that. Please follow him. Please support him. I think the videos are fun. I put a lot of work into them, and I am proud of them. Getting my video editing skills on. Let's see. Okay, announcements in December. So I do have a few announcements. Here is the first and most significant one, and I wanted to put this out, and I will probably post a story about this as well, because this is pretty relevant. So those of you who have been around for a while know that I put out, here's a couple of them, these annual sketchbooks of all my behind-the-scenes stuff, sketches, commissions, things that don't otherwise see the light of day, as I like to phrase it, my studies, just stuff like that. Because of my current situation and having done so little actual art this past year, I have decided I am not going to be putting out one of these sketchbooks this year, just because there's not enough content. It's not worth getting a book printed with a couple of pages. And I will just be making an extra large sketchbook next year. And I will specifically say in the title, because they all have the date or the year in the title. I will just specifically be saying, it'll have both years on it, basically. So it'll be a double-sized sketchbook next year, and I will be skipping this year, because normally that's what I would be focusing on right now, because I like to get them done in December, January, thereabouts, to release them kind of with the new year. So do not wait around for a sketchbook this year. I made the executive decision to not do that this year. It just makes the most sense. And I'm just trying to be very organic and genuine with this. So there is that announcement. Other announcements. I have changed my work schedule at the clinic in order to have more time, or rather more of my prime time. I'm burying the lead. I'm just working every afternoon now at the clinic instead of 2 solid days a week, because that exhausts me, because I am an extreme introvert. So instead of burning myself out 2 days out of the week and then having 2 days of the week I have to recover, which all feels like wasted time when you're trying to get your career back on track, I'm going to be keeping my valuable morning time available. That's when I'm most creative. I roll out of bed and I get going. Like I said earlier, I write in the morning, I draw in the morning, I do all that stuff. So hopefully this change in work schedule, which starts tomorrow, will help. Time alone will tell. I'm just letting you know, because I'm trying to keep you guys in the loop. Let's see. See if I can get some. Brian Silverbacks just says, "Get it, girl. Good to see you, dude. Hope you're well." Charlotte says, "Wait, you're an introvert? Never would have guessed." I genuinely don't know if you're joking, Charlotte. No, I can see it. I mask it pretty well, I guess. But yeah, it's a lot. So yeah, that's going to help me quite a bit. Bunch more people jumping in. Hello, hello. Don't look at my backwards board of shame. This has nothing to do with you. All right, let's see. Oh, wow, I scrolled all the way down. There we go. And last announcement, I'm traveling for New Year's. That's not super relevant to any of you all, but again, like to keep you all in the loop. My family is so large, we've started doing a thing where instead of trying to travel for Christmas, which is expensive and a hassle and a nightmare, we just wait till New Year's when flights are cheap, and we all celebrate Christmas together over New Year's as well. And we have sort of this double holiday where everyone actually has the time and the means to get together. So this is going to be, I think, the second year we've been doing that, or we will be doing that. And I'm very much looking forward to it. So I'll be traveling over the New Year, and yeah, minimally relevant to you guys, but just thought I'd throw it out there. Let's see. Product of the month. This is something I'm gonna try because, like as I said earlier, I really don't promote or push my stuff, you know, my side hustle the way I should. I put all this work into making these products, and then I don't really promote them. It's not my natural skill set at all. I just make things. I was just thinking before going live, like, I would have loved to have lived in an era where you could just have a pen name and nobody knew this was what you did. And you know, you have a publicist who takes care of all this stuff for you. But we live in 2023, so I have to be my own publicist and promoter and all that stuff. Okay. But yes, promoting products. So I was gonna say, in light of not doing a sketchbook this year, here it is backwards because I didn't use the back camera. I used the front camera because I'm an idiot and my board is backwards. This is my favorite sketchbook so far. This was the 2020 sketchbook. Obviously that's a few years out of date, but this was still one of my best-selling sketchbooks. Not one of, the best-selling sketchbook I've made so far. It's one of the heftiest ones. It's pretty thick. There's a lot of content in it. And this was one of those products that when I released this, I ended up having to change my schedule completely because there was a whole week where all I could do was fill orders, and that was really exciting and gratifying. So you can get this on my store Envy. You can get this on my Instagram shop, I believe. All the links are in my profile. You can get all kinds of content from me at either of those shops, but this is what I'm recommending this year. If in the event that you are bummed about missing my sketchbook this year and you didn't get this one, I recommend this one. This one is the best so far. Very proud of this one. Sketchbook Volume 5. It's the red one. All right, let's see. All right, at the end, now I'm just going to do some plugs. Like I said earlier, I was saving the plugs for the end, but they just ended up getting mixed in. So please, if you are interested in supporting me and seeing behind the scenes stuff in my process, I recommend either my Instagram subscription feed or my Patreon. They cost the same. They have the same content. Pretty good deal, right? You have two options as to where to get the same stuff. Just question of platform, whatever platform is easier for you. If you want to support me and get products out of it, you can look me up on Store Envy. I have a Store Envy shop. My name is uncommon, so you can just Google me. You can find it. I have an Instagram shop on Shopify. You can get product there. If you can't think of any other way to do it, you can drop me a direct message and we'll talk it out. We'll figure it out. Half the things I sell through direct messages anyways. It's really organic a lot of the time. It's just normal people bumbling through life. So, I think that's it. Let me check the last round of comments. Charlotte says, pretending to be an extrovert is a talent in and of itself. Well, thank you. I do try. It makes people more comfortable. Alliance Manga says, that looks so cool. Alliance Manga grinds, man. They also say you're the best. Thank you. You are very sweet. All right. Well, I think I'm going to call it, you guys. Let's do this again next month. I will have it scheduled well in advance next time so that y'all don't miss it. And I will be more prepared. I will use my back camera so that you can see my board and I don't humiliate myself with that. And yeah, I think that's it. You are all wonderful. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much everyone that bought a badge. I think that was 2 of you. That was very incredible of you. Thank you so much. And I hope you all have a wonderful day and a wonderful December. And help keep me accountable for everything I told you in this live stream. I was going to say in this video. It is a video. Help keep me accountable for that. I got to grind. I have a big mission ahead of me. And you guys get to watch it. All right? All right. I'll see you all next time.